Good morning, everyone. We will start in 2 minutes. Today is the first episode of Business and Breakfast. The concept of Business and Breakfast is a masterclass of 30 minutes where I will teach you many things to help you to build businesses without any money or with the good skills and the good tips. Today, the first episode is building a brand with $0. You will learn how to build a brand with $0. So stay with us. And now I will start the presentation. So the first episode today, how to build a brand with $0. My name is Hedi Mesme. I currently build several brands in my life. And today we will talk about how to build a brand without any money. So tune in, record, ask your friends to join, share, ask your friends to join, because it will be very, very, very interesting for you. So first of all, let's see if everything is well set. Yes, I will put the camera here. So like that we are okay. Okay. So the first step is, usually when you want to build a brand, you think that you need to have a lot of money to start to buy the product, to hire the team, to spend the money on all the materials, all the goods, all the dry goods, and everything. Before all, guys, invite all your friends because it will be a real masterclass that will help you to build a brand with $0. So what is the traditional way? Usually people say you build the product, you hire the people, you spend the money. So you buy the dry goods, you buy the product and everything, and then you push everything into the market and you hope that will work. So this is the traditional wrong way to do it. You have a better way because you don't know if people will be happy to buy your product because you think that you have a good idea, but the only good feedback in your life will be the customers. So the customers will tell you if your product is good and genuine because they are buying. So on the other way around, how you build and how you start with $0, you don't spend before you earn any dollar. This is something very, very, very important. So how you start? You identify your niche. You identify a demand. You can be, for example, in my case, that was the rum. I was in the rum industry. And the rum in 2016 was really booming in Europe. There was a great opportunity. We had like Diplomatico and Don Papa rum. They were really striking the market because it was sweet, easy to drink, and people were very, very happy and to discover the rum that way. So we found the niche. This is the demand, the rum. Then you validate, meaning how you validate. You start to create all your design, all your packaging, and you ask some samples of the product that you want to build. But I will get into it a bit later. After you get paid, so you find the niche, you validate your concept, you get paid, and then you build. I will enter deeper into that, but this is important to understand this process. You find your niche, you validate the concept, you get paid by your customers, so you receive the money before spending any euros, and then you build your brand. So, how it works. For example, in my case, the step one, what I will call, so I just want to do, what I will call, you hunt for the niche. So the hunt for the niche, and you need to find your gap and you need to bridge it. For example, as I said, the rum industry was very, very interesting during in 2015, 2016. We had a lot of rum drinkers in Europe. So we had a market for that. We had customers. What we found, we said that, okay, we want to create a brand, but we don't want to create exactly the same brand because if we want to compete to the brands that are working already, we have great chances to be crushed because they will have more money, more marketing budget, more existing customers, more commercials and so on. So you need to know the trend. You need to know that you have potential buyers for what you want to sell, but you need to improve a bit your product. You need to improve a bit the product. So in our case, for example, for Cash Cane Rum, this is a rum that we created in 2016. We identified the opportunity for the rum drinkers industry, but we wanted to bring another thing, meaning we saw an opportunity to bridge the gap between the bourbon drinkers, Jack Daniels, Maker's Mark, Four Roses, and all whiskey drinkers that were very used to drink like dry product. And on the other side, we had the rum drinkers wanting to drink something more sweet. So we decided to create a product in the middle of that, meaning we had the code and the style of the bourbon. So we used the shape of the bottle, the label, the communication in order to attract the bourbon drinkers. But the recipe was very, very close to what the people were looking for. So we were adding value to the market. We were adding value to the market by showing to the consumers that a new brand arrived with a nice lifestyle, a nice packaging, but something that is also tapping in a non-tap market, meaning the whiskey drinkers. The whiskey drinkers and the rum drinkers were something very, very at the opposite. And we tried to bridge that by creating Cash Cane Rum. So what you have to do in your case, if you want to build a brand, you need to surf on the wave of what is working. Do not try to invent anything. Do not invent anything. You need to improve what is already existing to fill a new gap. So the second step is you have to source. You don't need, if you want to create a brand, you don't need to create your own recipe. You don't need to create everything from scratch, because we remind that you do not have money. We are in the case that you want to launch a brand and you do not have any money. So how you do that? In our case, for example, for the rum, we started to contact few distilleries in Barbados, Trinidad, and Panama, because we knew that was great origin for the rum at that time. And we knew that they were the experts in the rum industry. So if we wanted to build a brand that works, we wanted to be sure that we have the good partners, we have the good product. It was very important. So we sourced the product from the best. We imported all the rum and put in blending in Europe, because we were based in Europe at that time. And then we made a deal with a company to blend our rum and to bottle our rum, put a label. I remind now, I didn't spend any euros right now. I talked to the distilleries, I asked for samples, I decided to get the product, I mixed my thing together, I validated my brand, my recipe. I didn't spend any euros, because all those suppliers want to work with you. They want to work with you, so they don't make you pay. I have my design, I have everything that is ready, I have all my costs, but I didn't pay any euros right now. So the steps are what? You need to find your suppliers. This concept is for any kind of consumer brand you want to create. Any kinds of consumer brand. So for example, you need to find your supplier. If you are in the cosmetic industry or a makeup industry, you need to find a supplier of makeup. So you contact your laboratories and so on. Then you ask for some samples. You test the product, because you want to sell quality. Normally, if you launch a brand, you want to sell something quality. You have two possibilities when you sell a brand. Either you want to be top of the niche, so you will be expensive. All the materials, all the product will be expensive, and the price will be reflecting that. Or you go to the mass market, meaning you really want to tap into the mass market. So in that case, you are looking for cheap product. In any case, cheap recipes, cheap product, cheap bottles, cheap labels, because you want to be really competitive in price to sell a lot. So you find your suppliers, you test the samples that they send, you make your own recipe. You don't need to make your own recipe. You can have your own, you can use an existing product. For example, you have a lot of brands that are ready to let their recipe going and doing what we call a white label system. So the white label is you use the brand that is already exists. For example, anything. You have You want a brand of milk, you contact a top brand of milk in your country, but you say that I want to sell the milk under my brand, but I commit you to make a lot of volume. So they will be okay to do that because their business is to sell. They want to sell in any form, in anything. So the blend part is not mandatory. Then you validate. When you validate, I mean you make your potential customers testing the product. So you need to have like 20, 30, 40 people that you reach. That can be your family, your friends, people that you see at the sports, at the gym, anything. You gather them and you make them test the products. They will validate the recipe. They will validate you as a brand. Hear the feedback. Once you have the feedback, you have validated your product. And then you will be able to go and start to lock a deal. So the third step, first is you identify your niche. Second, you identify your supplier and you validate your product. Third, you build the brand digitally. Meaning, especially nowadays with AI and all the tools that you can find, you can make it real before it's real. As we say, pixels are free, products are not. So focus on building your brand online before spending any euros. Meaning, you build your website, you build your social content, you build your logo and the 3D mock-up of your product. You build your pitch deck, brand deck, presentation, anything, any tool that will help you to use and to sell your product before having the brand. Create your catalog and everything. When you put everything together on a website or something, you have your brand alive. You can start to push the social network. You can start to push everything and anything. So you have to make it real before it's real. If you see what I mean, you can create your brand with $0. Creating a website nowadays, you can do that with HTML. You can have a landing page for free. Social content, you do the social content, you create the visual with AI. You create the catalogs with Canva. People should use Canva. If people are using Canva, put Canva in the chat. We'll have some rewards for people that are interacting. You create your pitch deck, and your 3D mockups. Then you have your brand that is alive for free. Now you can start to push and see if you have attention. The fourth step is you agree, but you don't buy. Meaning like the paperwork is free, the stock is not. So you have your supplier agreement, you make an agreement with your suppliers. You have your labels that are ready, you already designed with Canva or with a cheap designer that you can find on Fiverr or something. All the logistic is figured out, meaning like you talk already to the potential people that will make the logistic of your product from the production to the consumer. You can use, for example, the drop shipping. Drop shipping solution is very great. You can push on Shopify your catalog, your product without having any stock. And then you wait. You don't spend any money. So the old way to make business that way, the old way was I buy my stock, I purchase all my stock, and I wait. Meaning like I put $10,000, I buy my own product that I created, and then the money is sleeping in my warehouse waiting to be sold to the customers. This is the old way. You buy, you hope to sell, but you put your capital at risk. This is very important to understand. Try the maximum to enter the money before spending. The new way is the $0 way. You sell first to your customer, and then with their money, you buy. You buy with the customer's money. This is a zero risk process. So once the customer are paying you with all the brands that are active on social, your website, your catalogs, your videos that you can create with AI right now, and you know that you have your supply chain that is ready to move once you start paying, when the customers pay, when you make some ads or some content, you have the money to go to pay them, to go to pay the supplier, the labels and so on, and you can start to ship to your customers. So this is how you launch a brand with $0. I record, you identify your niche. This is important reminder, you identify your niche, then you identify your supplier, you validate the product, you build your brand digitally, and then you start to sell without having stocks. So this is good for mainly all the consumer brands, any kind of consumer brands, especially now if you explore the drop shipping. This is very easy, very, very easy. And once you are paid, now you can start to buy some stock. So you have secured the supply, and now you have the cash in the hands to go to pay for that supply. What it means, you didn't take any risk with your own money, and you know that customers are interested into your product because they are paying you. So they are putting money in your pocket. So you know that the concept is validating. The concept is validating. The concept is business and breakfast. So I have my breakfast at the same time. Tell in the chat what kind of breakfast you have this morning. I will say hi to some people. I say hi to God is love. How are you? God is love. Say hi in the chat. You will have a lot of gift coming in the next one. Hello, wage. I also invite you, we will pin in the chat to the next event. The next event that will be this Wednesday at 8 p.m. UAE time. It will be Let's Talk Business. So anything you have regarding your business or any question you have, do not hesitate to come and ask any question live. Audrey will pin the event in the chat. So I continue. After doing all of that, now you have the money of your customers, you have your brand ready, and you have your brand digitally ready. What do? You run some ads on social networks and Google ads with little budget, little budget. So you work well around your ads. How to work well around your ads? You go to ChatGPT, you explain to ChatGPT what is your product, and you say that I want to run of ads and I have $20 budget or $30 budget, anything you have. And you ask the strategy to have the best feedback from the ads with that cost. ChatGPT or any kind of tools, Perplexity or any kind of thing you are using, they will give you the exact how to set up your ads on Google Ads and social network. What will be your target consumer? What will be the geography you need to focus on? What will be the segmentation of the age of the people? What will be the purchase power of the people you need to target? The AI today will give you exactly how you need to run your ads. So you create a landing page and you create a hook. Meaning, if you create a hook, it means like pre-order. So it implies that they will not have the stock already, but they pre-order at 50% off, 50% discount. Or it can be buy one and get one, or limited time offer 50% if you purchase a minimum of $50. So you create a hook, you create something that is an upsell that people will love to rush to buy, because you create, like we call, the FOMO effect. So you have your landing page, you create the hook, the promo, you have everything ready in the back, you have your brand ready, and you start to run ads. When you will have ads and start to have some click and conversion, you will start to receive the money. If when you run ads, you don't get any pre-orders, or you have to spend 10 times the money to get one customer, so 10 times the money, for example, you sell a product at $30, but you need to spend $300 to get one customer at $30, the concept is not good. So what I am saying is you are testing a potential big business or a potential total failure for very, very cheap by doing that. So If you have few orders with those ads, this is the cheapest market research that you can ever make. Because you put $20 and you know that if your business will work or not. This is magic. This is amazing. When you just need to, imagine if you did that in the old way, building a company, hiring some staff, having an accounting, having everything. You would have spent like $20,000, lost a lot of time, and at the end you see that no one wants to buy. So you do the ads, and that costs you $0 of product build. This is also important to understand. At this stage, you are running ads, you still do not have stock. You have everything ready with your partners, you have no stock. So if the orders are starting to come, meaning like you start to receive like daily orders and you are seeing like the orders are coming, they are giving you much more money that you are spending. For example, if your product is $30 and that is costing you $5 to attract a customer, this is a good business. If your product costs $30 but you have to spend $100 to get the customer, this is not a good business. So you will have the feedback from the ads, and when the orders start to come, you have the cash that is coming. The customers will be ready to wait because they took advantage of a promotion that you made, pre-order. So it's easy afterwards to send them an email saying like, we have a lot of orders, sorry for the delay, we have a massive success. So you give confidence to the customers, and this is important to stay in touch with your customers when you are doing that. Very, very important to stay in touch because you got them. When you got them, the most important is not the first sale, it's the second sale. So to come back on the strategy, if you do not have any orders or very small compared to what you spend, you got a free validation showing that the business is not good. If the orders are flowing, this is a free funding. You don't need any investor, you don't need any family member, you don't need any people to make you a loan. This is a free funding because the customer are paying you. No orders equals free research. Remind that very well. Okay, so that was for the B2C model, business to consumer, meaning like I create a brand and I sell to my final consumer. Now, if we speak about the B2B model, you can have a B2B model. For example, for us, for Cashken Rom, it was a B2B model. We were selling to distributor and distributor was selling to our customer. This is exactly the same model. You have your brand, you have your deck, you have your website, and you have some sample of your product. You don't need to have the label. You just need to make them test the product, smell the product. I don't know if it's something to drink, to eat, to put on your skin, anything. You make them test. And once they valid, they pay you. Because in B2B, usually the Incoterm, the business procedures are payment upfront, especially when it's a new business relationship. So how it works? Again, I will repeat. You sell first, you buy later. So you get your sample, you get your deck, pricing, everything ready. You pitch your buyers, you pitch your B2B potential partner or directly your consumer. You receive your first orders, you pay your supplier. Once you have paid your supplier, you start to deliver. And you repeat, you keep the margin and we come back and you do exactly the same and you increase and you increase. After that, you will start to have your own cash running and you won't need to have any external money to launch your brand. What did we do when we did that? No inventory. In consumer business and product business, inventory is what is killing a lot of people because they are producing, thinking that they will sell, but at the end, they don't know if they will sell. And they stay with a lot of cash that is sitting in the warehouse and maybe that will never come back. So with this strategy, you have no inventory risk. You have no warehouse needed, meaning like you do not pay any storage. And you keep your margin and you make profit from the first sale. If, for example, You got 50 first orders, 50 orders for your first sale, and you are selling at $30 and the product costs you $15, so you are keeping $15 per 30. So we are talking about $450 profit just for the first thing. So you paid your suppliers, your customer is receiving the product, and you already are making profit. And then you scale only when the demand is proven. So when we say that the demand is proven, it's like you have the initial buyer that are coming back to buy again. So for the first purchase, you will get some data. You will get some, you will get a lot of data regarding the mail, the phone number, their geolocation, and so on and so on. So you will be able to be in touch with them and then organize a kind of marketing funnel to sell them again. If they buy again, they trust your brand. So if they trust your brand, you start to scale, meaning you can start to put the money from your own pocket into this brand. So the B2B I am explaining here is the cleanest $0 business model ever. You have to screenshot that, you have to keep that, you have to print that in your bedroom and watch it every day if you want to launch a brand. If you don't know what to do in life right now, you can do that. You look for a top product and you apply this process. Then I will repeat the whole roadmap on everything. You need to keep in mind that you need to bring money in first. You need to bring money in first for the customer. The money coming in is the validation of your product. Then you structure. You will structure the way you scale, meaning like if the demand is going fast and you have the money, you can start to hire someone to help you to manage the sales, or someone for the customer support, because a lot of people are asking and you want to keep track on all of that. So money in first, you structure second, and you scale. Scaling meaning like when you have a proven model and you have sold 1,000 products with spending, you have made $10,000 revenue by spending $2,000 in budget, you are showing to potential people and potential investors that the business is scalable. So you scale, it's like you can show to the investors that now if I put $100,000 in this business, I will reach around $1 million in revenue because I have my model that is proven. This is important to keep this $0 brand blueprint. You hunt the niche, you source, you don't create, you source with experts in the product you want to sell. Then you build your online presence. You build the brand digitally. Then you make some agreement with the suppliers on the price and so on that will help you to create your price structure. If you know by making agreement with the partners for the labels, for everything, you will bring addition to that, and that will, for example, make a product that will cost you $10. So you know that you can sell the product at $20 or $25. That will let you room to make some promo, to make some things like that. Then you run some ads. You run ads, different ads. You digital target your potential target consumer, and you start to get your first order. If you do not have order, you do not have business. You didn't lose anything, maybe $20 in 1 week. If it's working, you put more money in ads to get more customers. And once you are stable, the model is proven, meaning like once the customer start to piling up, or the original customer is coming back, you have a validated business. Now you can scale. And when we say scale, you put your money, investor money, family money, neighbor money, any kind of money into that to scale the business. Remember this. Remember this. If you have any question, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat, and we will be able to answer. So, what is the golden rule of this story? There is a golden rule. You never spend before you earn. When you want to launch a brand, any kind of brand, that it can be chocolate, that can be cosmetic, that can be makeup, that can be water, that can be soda, that can be spirits, champagne, wine, anything, you test the demand because you think that you have a business, but the only good feedback will be the customers paying you. So the golden rule here is never spend before you earn. If people pay you, you are okay to build, but you are building with the other people money. You are building with the customers money. If people don't pay you, you pivot. You pivot to another thing you can try. If you think you are still in the good niche, you maybe you missed something. So you can start to work around that and try again. But do not make the mistake to open your company, to hire people, to start to invest in accounting, in everything, because that will dry your account and you don't know if your business will work. So first, money in. 2, you build. 3, you scale. This is the golden rule. Never forget that. So I will stay 2 minutes if you have some question in the chat.